Hello everyone, welcome back to Miss Reid's class. Congratulations on reaching task 5, the final task in the spreadsheet section of your school-based assessment. In this video, I'll guide you through each step to ensure you ace this task and achieve a good score. If you find this content helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. So let's get started with task 5. So number 1, copy process client purchases to a new worksheet and rename it summaries. So we highlight everything on the process client purchases, highlight everything, right click on the mouse, select copy. You're going to add a new sheet beside client advanced filter. So you click on the plus sign, you add a new sheet, and you're going to rename that sheet as summaries. So when you're through with number 1, it should be looking like this. So let's just change the color to track our progress. So number 2 says that we're supposed to create a 2-dimensional pivot table to summarize the final price for each client. So we're going to have to select the data range. So let's head back to the worksheet. Select the data range, including all the column headings. So from client ID all the way over to final price. After you're through selecting the data range, you're going to go to the Insert tab and you're going to select Pivot Table. Next, you're going to click on Existing Worksheet. So we don't want the pivot table to appear in a new worksheet, so we click on Existing Worksheet. Click in the location box and you're going to place the cursor where you want the pivot table to appear. So let's say that I want my pivot table to appear in P7. So P7 right there. And I select OK. So next up, it says that we're supposed to include the client type, client name, and final price. And we have to do these in the order in which they appear. So here we have client type. So we can either check this box, check the box like that, or we can go ahead and just drag this box all the way down to the column. So here where it says rows. I release the box. We also need to choose the client name field. So you can either go ahead and check the box, or once more you can drag it all the way down to rows. And also it says that we're supposed to include final price. If it is that you're going to drag final price, the field final price, you have to drag it over to the section that says values. And that's basically our pivot table. So let's head back to the instructions. So we would have created a 2-dimensional pivot table. We included the client type, name, and final price. So now we're going to insert a title above the pivot table, and we're going to call that title Client Final Price Summary. So we're going to call the title Client Final Price Summary. So we head back to the worksheet. In the cell above our pivot table, So that's cell P6. I'm going to type the heading, client final price summary. Heading back to the instructions, it says that we're supposed to bold, merge, and center the pivot table title across the pivot table. So we head back to the worksheet. We highlight the title. We're going to merge and center it across the pivot table. And we're also going to bold it. So you click on the B right here. And then the last requirement for the title was that we're supposed to increase the font size of the pivot table title to 14. So the font size should be 14. And then we can shade the cell to any color. So you highlight the title right here. You click on the font size and it should be 14. And they say that we can go ahead and shade the cell in any color of your choice. So you're going to use the fill color option to shade that section. And let me go ahead with the yellow. And that's basically it for our pivot table. So when you're through, this is what your pivot table is supposed to look like. So we will have completed all these requirements, all of number 2. So now we're going to move on to the final part. So number 3, and it says create a column chart to show the final price total for international clients and local clients. And we're supposed to give this column chart a title. The column chart should have data labels, we should include a legend and also axis titles. So to insert our column chart, we're just going to highlight this data right here in our pivot table. We select insert and we're going to look for our column chart. Click on the option right there and you choose the type of column chart that you want. Alright, so let me just settle for the 2-dimensional column chart. Put it over to my right, or to the right of the pivot table. I'm going to click on the plus sign. Click on the plus sign, so it shows that we're supposed to include a legend. Check already. Also, we're supposed to include axis titles. So we go ahead and we select that section, and we also need a chart title in addition to data labels. So we go ahead and we check all those boxes. And we can make our charts bigger. Can also customize our chart. Let me go for the darker one. Alright, so for this axis text over here, I'm going to rename it. So I'm going to clear out that which is there. And I'm going to call over here either totals or final price totals. We have the final price totals. At the bottom, we can see our international client, different from our local clients. For this axis title, I'm going to put client type. For my title of my chart, I am going to type the heading column chart showing final price. So column chart showing final price totals for international and local clients. Also want to fix my data labels so that they don't look that confusing. So I'm going to just bring down some of the labels so that they do not overlap with each other. And that's basically it. So now we can see clearly the final price for each of our international clients as well as for each of our local clients. So you can go ahead and enhance your chart the way you like. And that's practically it for task 5. Practically it for the SBA, for the spreadsheet section of the SBA. If it is that you have any question, any issue, then feel free to let me know in the comment section. So once more, this is task 5 in its entirety. So here we have the pivot table and then we have the column chart right beside it. So thank you so much for watching, and I do hope that you would have learned a thing or two.